All right, the Portland Trailblazers are frustrating some with the amount of wins that they're piling up, but intriguing a lot of folks, both that want the team to lose and the people that want them to win. It is an intriguing run that the Blazers are on because we've talked about this at length. They've developed players. We've seen young guys take massive strides. But the big question is going to be, if you're not in that top four, if you're not going to land Cooper Flagg in the number 1 overall pick, has this season increased trade opportunities for the Portland Trailblazers, whether it's young guys through development or the veteran pieces that they have shut down largely? DeAndre Ayton, who shut down due to injury, Jeremy Grant, Robert Williams, Anthony Simons, who we haven't seen in a few games. Has the value increased on any of these players?
I don't think it's increased on any of the veterans. I think it's probably dropped on a couple of guys.
That is the one that hurts right there.
The Time Lord one is probably the one that hurts the most. And when they made that deal, I thought they were going to redirect him. But they were adamant they were going to keep him. That was the guy that they really. So I was kind of tracking that whole after they made the transaction with Dame to Milwaukee and they got Jrue. There were 3 teams that were pursuing Jrue, 4 total, but 3 very hard. The Clippers, the Jazz, and the Celtics. They were all very much interested in Jrue Holiday. And the Blazers wanted Taylor Hendricks from the Jazz. And the Jazz were like, no, we're not going to include him. And I was talking to somebody in Utah during the process because that was their top prospect. And look, it's Jrue Holiday. He's a dude. But the Jazz, if they could get Jrue and get him to agree to an extension, Danny Ainge really wanted him. And I was talking to somebody in Utah during the process, and they're like, do you think the Celtics will put Rob in the deal? And I go, that's the sticking point right now as I understand it. And that was what kind of held that up. The Clippers were pushing in with more, basically what was left of their draft capital and a couple other things, but it didn't. They went hard, but I don't think the Blazers were super interested in what they had. And then the Miami Heat went after Jrue for a period too. But when Rob got on the deal, I was going back and forth with somebody in Utah. I go, if Utah's going to get in, they're going to have to put Taylor because the Blazers are prioritizing. They wanted somebody like that. And I thought immediately, because they wanted Rob, was they would do exactly what they did with Jrue. Other teams would be like, we want Rob, and you could flip for more assets. And I thought kind of the same with Malk, but I thought they might keep Brogdon. I was like, it kind of makes sense to keep Brogdon because they need some
steady hand in the backcourt.
Yeah, and Malk is a pro as pro comes. He is as buttoned up and professional a player as there is in the NBA. He is a pro's pro, right? And not that Rob isn't, but Rob's a different kind of pro, right? And I was like, well, they'll probably look to move Rob, and then you get the thing from Woj. They are keeping him. And I was like, okay. It was a risk.
Yikes. And
it's one that is clearly not panned out for them because he had another injury and had to have work on it again. It's unfortunate, and that's going to be a bit of a blemish on that transaction, in that they didn't flip him then, and they didn't flip him later.
Yeah, the decision.
Yeah.
The decision not to flip it, turn it, make it real quick. But it also does make sense because at the time, they had no front court.
Yeah.
They had no front court depth.
No, it was him and DA.
Yeah.
They're like, this is what we're going to go with.
That was literally, yeah.
Yeah. So I at least got it, even if I disagree with it in principle, but then you get Rob around and you understand why.
Okay.
And you're just like, okay, even if I disagree with it, I at least can understand it. They got it wrong, and that's the risk you take with a guy that has injuries. Is sometimes you get Steph Curry, who's broken the first 3 years he's in the league, and then basically bulletproof for 10 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys get injuries, and they just more than likely with big men just kind of keep
on happening.
It's unfortunate, but with Rob, he's depreciated, and I hate talking about guys and assets, but I'm just using that term because he has. I don't think DA has. I think DA is what DA is. He hasn't been as good as he was in Phoenix because he doesn't have Chris Paul and Devin Booker setting him up.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of this.
He's been better than I think a lot of people expected him to be here, though, knowing what he had. Yeah.
Yeah. And his deal being an expiring deal, I'm very interested to see how that value translates because I don't know. With the new CBA, I don't know what the value of a $35 million expiring deal is.
Yeah.
Nobody does. And that's kind of the question is like, is there a team out there is not Phoenix, but a Phoenix team, okay? There's other teams that are up against it too. Boston. Do the Blazers work as necessary a facilitator for a team that's like, we are in the second apron and we cannot be here any longer.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to find a way out of this years earlier.
New ownership is going to have to make some moves, yeah.
And that's kind of the thing that I'm looking at with him. With Jeremy, there are teams that want him. I don't know if there are teams that are out there that are giving up what the Blazers want.